How's it going, everybody? Just finished my pretty much my morning slash afternoon sets. Me and the dog went back out again. I'm just resting, relaxing. I put my drink a little too far away, and I've already started recording. So, cut. I wanted to talk about something a bit more. I'm just gonna say serious because it is. I mean, um, ED, erectile dysfunction, is a very real problem. Um, Something that I've noticed doesn't get talked about much at all. And such a severe degree, it's actually kind of hilarious. So basically, for me, I developed ED, I would say about 3 years after the Marine Corps. 3, 4, maybe. Yeah, so I have ED and developed it like I think 3 or 4 years. Not exactly sure. It's not necessarily something I jot down on the calendar. But basically, ever since then, I heavily depended on the VA to help on that because I was thinking, okay, maybe they'll do something on this. They didn't do anything. They really didn't do anything. If anything, they just made it worse. Like they just kept making it worse, and the next thing you know, I was just kind of like, oh well, my stuff just doesn't work at all at this point. It's just it's just a part of me that's just not functioning. That's fun to have every day of your life. And a very good reminder too with today's media. It's kind of feels as though you're being laughed at times. And then all of the new like advertisements for I guess I say happy pills, Viagra, whichever one you want to call it. There's many different brands. Now, if I recall correctly, I'm bad with acronyms, so I don't remember exactly. But basically, the medical field has done the research, or at least presented that they've done the research, or are now finally implementing more testosterone treatments for men with erectile dysfunction because a lot of times that is the core problem is you're low on your testosterone levels. And that's actually one of the things that I got back when I did my blood check outside the VA because I went to a men's wellness clinic because I was just at the end of it with the VA. I was at the end of it because I was like, you're not solving my problems. You're giving me medication that only adds to my problems. Because I didn't start out with the ED until after I started taking medication, and they swore up and down it was not the medication. But I'm sorry, there's just not that many factors to factor in for me. Compared to most people, I have barely drank alcohol at all. So that's not a kid. That's not something I would factor in unless you're trying to say I have a very weak body in general, which would be hard to believe. See, it's one of those moments where there's just this dishonesty based on policy. The VA can't be completely at fault because a lot of the policies that they go by is federal. So there is no real doctor trying to do a little extra for you or anything. It's what they're mandated to do, what they will do, and what they'll end off at. It doesn't matter. And trust me, I played with a lot of the questions just to see where the hard limit is, and it's everywhere. The VA is just not that helpful if you're old and you clearly don't have insurance to cover your medical expenses. Obviously, the VA is a great advantage for veterans in that area, but ED, it's a unique problem. It affects everything, and the fact that it took this long for basically, I'm pretty sure this is the area, the more federally mandated medical side, not the medical scientific side, which is developing these areas. There's mandates, and then there's things that are like again, like with Like for weed for example, there's a ton of research on it, but federally it's still not allowed. Why? If you're in the military, if you get, you know, on the, you know, test, you know, for specific, you know, substances in your body, yeah, you're going to get kicked out because federally it's just not allowed. Even if in California, and even if you are stationed in California, you're still not allowed because federal law prohibits it. It's the same in the medical fields. There are certain areas you have to do a lot. When I did a lot of research on these things, is because of the fact that, like, there was so much information that I was realizing from Googling it all and sitting down for hours every time I had a chance in the day. If I had a break at work, I might want to do some research on depression. I might want to do some research on ED. I might want to do research on that, this, and that. And a lot of it came back to, a lot of times, low testosterone. A lot of times, too much estrogen. It's chemical imbalances. And testosterone treatment can help you out a lot. Like the drinks you see me drinking has basically ingredients in it meant to promote natural testosterone development in the body. I again did my research on it. Obviously, I made sure that whatever brand I was going for was consistent. That's the word you always want to use when you're looking for these things. Consistency. If you can't find a review for it, I would question a lot of things. If you only find very few, like let's say you're searching on Amazon, like obviously get a lot of my clothes from. If there's not like at least 1,000 reviews on something and it's expensive at that, I wouldn't even look at it. There's something wrong when it has like only 200 reviews, a lot of them in another language, and the product I'm looking at is like $200 and above. No, too little data for me to be able to trust this manufacturer, because there's a lot of brands, there's a lot of manufacturers, and that's why I would say do the research on it. If you're suffering from ED, I would definitely suggest, if it's not that bad, like you can still kind of work, look into natural testosterone pills. Look into them. Do research. I'm not telling you a specific brand to get. I'm just saying that it does help. It has helped me, as I am almost fully functional. I'll say this, it's a massive improvement compared to the medication I was taking from the VA, the prescribed hospital, the federally ran hospital with so many different mandates and policies. Even if you were a nice, honest doctor, you could never tell anybody the proper ways to go about it. The fact that, like, here's the thing, me using nitric oxide is not from my research. It's actually from an emergency personnel in the emergency room, because I went there because I was having so many more problems than I wanted to handle, and he was the one who put me onto nitric oxide. He actually just gave me some he prescribed me tablets. I took them and I noticed a very big difference in just everything. Performance, not performance there, but performance as in like me exercising and wanting to do things became a bit better. And I was like, that was actually helpful. Why is it that all the other stuff ain't helpful? And as he explained it to me, it was like, yeah, it's because you kind of need this. You might be low on it, especially at your age. Your body is going to start needing these things to keep functioning at least close to top performance, because I'll never be able to get my 100% back. And I mean my physical 100%. And I don't mean just in that performance in that area. I mean in everything. It's because of the fact that I'm aging. No matter how I play it, I am going to eventually lose functions on everything. The best thing I can do is maintain it. You know, like that little thing we said in the last video, adjustments, basically. But I don't want to make this go past 10 minutes. So that was just me wanting to talk about something very important. I don't hear talked about often. Again, recommendation, Coach Colton, he does talk about this, and which was because I already knew from my wellness center trip, but he talks about it. He has his own programs. Again, take a gander. I'm not promoting, I'm just saying the man does talk good about, physical health and whatnot. So that's why I recommend. Again, just recommendation. Nothing else, nothing more. Anyway, I hope everyone is having a productive day, and I hope everyone is taking out the time to rest, taking out the time to just relax for a moment so that you can kind of regain yourself. I'm going to continue my training. I might take a break. I do have lunch. Anyway, Eternia out. Y'all have a good one.